going on, guys? Mr. John Lee here with another awesome video. So, welcome back to my community if you're a subscriber, first of all. If not, you should consider hitting that like and subscribe button for me right now. I just wanted to make a quick video about the whole transgender social media elected position for Bud Light situation. I thought this was a fucking meme. I thought it was a fucking joke. I didn't think that Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch, would actually do something this fucking stupid. Like I said, I thought it was a meme. It was going around social media, etc., and all this shit, and I guess it really happened. They hired a social media specialist that was a transgender, some 80-pound fucking guy wearing a dress and la-di-da. I don't know if that's a rebranding. I don't know what the fuck it is. But I just saw the video of one of the merchandisers for Bud Light, and he was basically saying, hey, this is so sad. You know, people don't buy Bud Light. I can't feed my family. And so, first of all, the gal that I saw doing the video laughed at the term influencer. So, first of all, she's a fucking idiot. Anybody that can actually share their opinion, their views, their ideologies with the world, and if that has any impact or at all whatsoever on the way people think or choices they make or anything like that, first of all, that is an influencer. You're either an influencer or the influenced. So it's up to you which you want to be. I think it's kind of a new term, but don't mock it. But this Bud Light guy is talking about how, you know, he's not going to be able to feed his family. There's a huge point to be made here, which is being a consumer culture and a free market. We are all susceptible and at risk to the market. So if you do some fucked up shit, like push your agenda through some type of ideological narrative, and it goes against humanity and, you know, what the overall best interest of the majority of the people. And I'm not talking about mob rule. Like, what's the difference between mob rule and an actual election democratic process where every vote counts? What if 99% of people agree on something and vote for something? Is that still mob rule? I would love to know, because I'm a little confused on that. What if you're 51% for it and there's 49% against it? Is that still mob rule? Or does it just have to be, what's mob rule? The bigger group of people. You know, so basically we are all at the mercy as consumers to this free market. So if you say or do some fucked up shit, you know, that should be a reflection on your business. What you stand for, what you believe in. And here all this time, we thought that pushing the woke narrative was going to do any kind of good. Most of us could see right through the bullshit the entire fucking time. But for everybody else that wants to brainwash our kids and set our nation up for failure instead of success, you know, I have to throw this out there as a reminder, because, hey, we all run into obstacles. We all run into challenges, but nobody gives a shit. And I mean nobody gives a shit about anybody that quits. Nobody gives a shit about people that try to force their ideologies on other adults and other citizens. That's not how we do shit here in America. But more than anything, what we don't like is people pushing their ideologies onto young children. They don't even have to be our children for us to get upset as parents. Like, we'll be upset because you're trying to do that shit with other people's children. It's fucking go time, war time if you fuck with our kids. And so COVID really set off a chain reaction of fucking with people and their kids through their employment, through their policies, through their diversity, inclusion, and equity training, agendas, narratives, all after all this Black Lives Matter bullshit, because that's what it is. Anybody that wants to emphasize themselves as superior or declaring themselves a priority of importance is suggesting a racist narrative. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but the whole white privilege thing, go fuck yourself. I don't have white privilege. If I do, it's poor white privilege. And I don't know about you, but where I'm from, being poor has never been a fucking white privilege of mine. Unless being poor white is somehow different than being poor any other ethnicity. So when people started messing with people's jobs, when people started messing with people's kids, when people started messing with people's policies and pushing this racist, ideological, Marxist bullshit, eventually people are gonna fucking start saying shit. You're going to push things. I'm talking to the extreme left here and the extreme right. Anybody that's extreme. There's nothing wrong with being passionate. There's something wrong with being extreme. So, you know, there's this thing that's just got past 3-2 in California called the Parent Secrecy Policy. And there was a 11-year-old girl who was completely transitioned, sexually reassigned by her counselor at fucking school, all without the support, the knowledge, or the consent of the fucking biological, legal, natural parent. And these fucking assholes just voted 3-2 at this school board to keep this parents' privacy or secrecy policy. It just blows my fucking mind. But the Bud Light thing, it comes back full circle. You start doing fucked up shit like big tech and big business, the government, the FBI, DHS, the CDC, BBC, all these fucking companies think that that people are what? Stupid? Do they really think that people are stupid? People in general might be a little naive. And we might be, you know, more than willing, a majority of people are willing to go along for the bigger cause, for the safety and well-being of the majority of society. But there's a certain point when people are like, wait a minute, that's fucked up, and you didn't even explain it very well. So, really, I'm so glad that all this COVID shit happened. What is misinformation? What's disinformation? What's malinformation? And who is the arbitrary of that? Who makes those calls? What the fuck is hate speech? There is no such thing as hate speech. You know, when we lose the freedom of speech, when we start compelling speech, we will never get those things back. And so there's a reason that people fight for that shit. But there's a reason why people, you know, want to push this diversity, inclusion, and equity training. They want to push these ideas because the idea sounds good. But if you really think about it, a lot of places are complaining because they don't get the creativity from non-diverse environments. But I've come to realize that there's really nothing wrong with not being diverse. Like, once you've become, you know, the object and the scapegoat for everybody's fucking shortcomings and everybody else's fucking problems, i.e., white or white privilege, you know, you start thinking, what the fuck are they talking about? And trying to figure out if you were born bad and you were born a racist and all this bullshit, knowing full well whether you are racist, whether you're not, but whether or not somebody pushes their ideologies and agendas and narratives onto your children in public fucking school. Like, Congress has the ability to implement policy for public education, but the local school boards also have that authority and power, but they're not supposed to be implementing policy that does not coincide or correlate with public policy by state legislators. So, bottom line is, when people start pushing and squeezing on shit that they shouldn't be pushing or squeezing on, they're gonna get pushback. I'm here to tell you as a fucking parent. I'm here to tell you as somebody's fucking aunt, uncle, mother, father, cousin, nephew, grandparent. Everybody with any common fucking sense is gonna have a problem with people trying to force their way of life and their way of living onto other people that don't want to fucking do it. And maybe that's how a lot of the minorities feel, but I can guarantee you, I ain't got no fucking white privilege. I hate all of you equally because the system failed me from the time I was born. Our system has been failing our youth. It's been failing young men. It's been failing our young women. Our system has been failing all of us in the name of greed and money, all for this rat race. We don't want everybody to not be poor, or the people that are the most prosperous and the most wealthy can't continue to exploit the labor of the people making not enough money to ever get anywhere. I used to think if you work hard enough, if you work long enough, work a second job, you know, you'd have a chance at supporting your family, being able to retire, and do well. But after being in my 40s, I'm realizing, whose fucking dream am I chasing? Whose fucking dream am I living? You know what I'm saying? Whose fucking narrative and agenda am I trying to fucking live and teach my children and grandchildren the difference between right and wrong? I can tell you, our daughter will not go to fucking public school. I will not tolerate any of this bullshit. And I think that it's safe to say that most of society has had it with the transgender ideology narrative, the diversity, equity, and inclusion narrative. You know, why wasn't anybody pushing that shit before Black Lives Matter? Can anybody fucking tell me that? I can tell you why. Because nobody fucking cared. We had affirmative action. That wasn't good enough. In the best fucking time of human history, here we have so many fucking people unhappy. The most technologically advanced point of human history, we are getting more work done than we've ever gotten done before, and we've only put in like 12 to 20% less work. Like, we are more unhappy and more overworked than we've ever been. And no matter how hard we work, who's gonna make all the fucking money? It's not even fucking funny. So, you want to keep me fucking poor with my brainwashed scapegoat white privilege, but then on top of it, you want to start brainwashing our kids to fucking totally fucking think that they don't have a clue what the fuck they are. They don't have a clue what value is in themselves, with being okay with who they are, growing, building character, building value, having the most meaning in life. Like, how are they going to be the most happy? We've taught our country how to be victims, how to be self-entitled, how to be fucking lazy, how to be fucking fat. Why? For what? For what? Please, somebody tell me for what? There has to be a fucking reason other than we just lost our goddamn ever-loving minds. Because if anybody thinks that this shit is going to fly long term, if anybody thinks it's not going to happen, if anybody thinks that they're going to change humanity, if you really think that more people agree on things in a diverse setting, you're mistaken. It is more difficult for people to get along and share similar ideas when they aren't anywhere close to the same fucking people from the similar background, a similar culture. It's a fucking shit show. And until Black Lives Matter came along, and until people and big businesses started thinking they might get fucking sued for not rolling out this kind of training. I mean, why wasn't this? I mean, seriously, ask yourself, where was all this DEI training for years? Think about it. Everybody went woke, Coke got sued. My job was setting up that kind of training. I told them to go fuck themselves, and they terminated me. So somebody has got to tell all these fucking people, if we're going to continue to lead this country in the direction of greed, capitalism, and a free market, we're only setting ourselves up for failure. It sounds great. It keeps us all with the carrot dangling in front of us, thinking that if we all work hard enough, that we can make it to the top and live happily ever after and go big or go home. But more than likely, most of us will never, ever see that fucking opportunity. And nobody, as long as we're just going along and doing what we're told to do, ain't nobody ever gonna figure that shit out or do a damn thing about it. So that's what I got to say about it. We are at the mercy of the market. So do what you gotta do, but I'd recommend a trade to the younger generation. Learn how to do something. That's a trade. Specialize in it. That way, you're recession-proof. You're woke-proof. You're Coke-proof. You're Bud Light-proof. You know, it's a shit show. If I was everybody, I would be taking these kids out of public fucking schools, because I'll be damned if our daughter is going to go. I'm John Lee. Hit that like and subscribe button for me and ring the bell for notifications. I'm on to the next one.